So the Texans are 14-point home underdogs. Excuse me. The total is up to 45.5 at FanDuel, the official sponsor of the Action Network podcast. This is a game where I really don't want any part of, but what are your thoughts just on the matchup, Philly, Houston, how they're playing?
Don't honestly, I don't really care. But we'll talk about it since I know some people will bet it. This is the worst Thursday night game imaginable. But there's gonna be like World Series on, there's college football on, and like you want me to pull up an app for this game? Sorry, NFL. This will be the one Thursday night game I will not be watching. I have Chad, I have a producer coming into town. We'll be out Thursday night, so I won't even have a chance to watch it. But which is great timing because this game is awful. The number is a little high based on what I make it, but I am petrified of Houston after what I saw last week because they were playing a backup quarterback who threw the ball one time in the first quarter and got sacked, and against a team that just handed it off a million times to Derrick Henry. Like, what, with no receivers, what did you think they were going to do? And he ran all over them. So now you're going to have to go up against the Eagles rushing attack with way better receivers and way better quarterback play and a way better offensive line. So even if the Eagles come in here with a vanilla game plan, short week on the road, they could still blow this open. If they get a lead, they're so hard to come back on. Davis Mills historically has played better at home. They're going to have to, Pierce going to have the big day if they want to stay in this. Is Nico Collins, I think, got ruled out. Cooks is questionable, I saw. If both of them out, it gets pretty dire. I don't know. I can't lay 14 on the road in an NFL game on a short week. There's also big backdoor risks when you're laying a number like that, as we saw with Green Bay at 10.5. Feels like the game's out of hand, and all of a sudden, it never really is in an NFL game because the Eagles could easily come out in the first half, go up, kind of just sit on it, and all of a sudden, you see the Texans with the ball down 17 late with a chance to lose by 10. So, yeah, I think 14 is the only way that you could get anyone to bet the Texans. I will not, but I will also not bet the Eagles. For what it's worth, the Eagles are 7-0 against the spread in the first half. First team since the 2013 Panthers to start out 7-0 against the spread in the first half of the season. But ugly. This game deserves to be on an app. It's kind of like a college football, like UMass game that's on like Fubo TV, or if Fubo, you have what are the other apps? I forget, but there's a couple apps at Stadium. Like this. I'm glad this is on an app. It's where it belongs. But no thanks from me.
Yeah, maybe if you want to get some action, maybe you look at a prop like a Miles Sanders over or something. Last 2 weeks, Houston 61 carries for 447 yards and 5 touchdowns to opposing running backs. Mostly Josh Jacobs and Derrick Henry. But I watched every snap of every game, but like this last Texans game against the Titans, especially, I just could not get over how like every play they knew exactly what was coming and they couldn't stop. Even when Dontrell Hilliard got in the game, Dontrell Hilliard carried 8 times for 83 yards. Dontrell Hilliard had 95 scrimmage yards behind a running back who touched the ball 33 times. That's absurd. This team cannot stop the run. So yeah, can't weigh the points with Houston.
I mean, my brain wants me to take Houston.
Yeah.
So if you want to follow my brain, like how I bet the NFL, no team is as bad as they looked the week prior. Buy low, sell high. You have an undefeated team playing a team with 1 win. The team's at home on national TV. This will basically be their season. Their defense got embarrassed last week. It's a short week. It's very difficult to cover 14 in the NFL. So buy low, sell high. If this gets to like 14.5, my brain would say bet Texans. But I just don't want to torture myself with this game.
Yeah, my brain does not. My brain does not say bet the Texans. Like I'm not saying bet the Eagles, but my brain is not saying bet the Texans. Like I think something weird's going on with Brandon Cooks too, because he had that cryptic tweet a couple of days ago I think it was yesterday when he did not get traded, and he kind of said essentially, don't mess with my career, and he hasn't practiced since,
Yeah.
and there's no they're saying it's his wrist, but he practiced in full Monday, so I doubt his wrist got, something happened to his wrist between Monday and Tuesday. More likely that something, kind of like an Elijah Moore situation going on here, where there's a possibility he does not play. I mean, he didn't practice Wednesday.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So, and listen, you already got Slay, Bradbury to deal with. So if you don't have Brandon Cooks, you don't have Nico Collins. I mean, this is points are going to be hard to hump by. Yeah, in the slot, you got to, because Dorsett's not getting open on the outside. But if you don't have Cooks and Collins, I mean, Moore might have to play outside. I guess they got Tyron Johnson. They dropped Tyler and picked up Tyron. So, but yeah, it's going to be ugly. Tight ends probably catch a bunch of balls, but if I gun in my head, I would just go Philly and hope they can get it done. Thursday night favorites by 7 or more are 35-21, 63% against the spread over the better part of the last 2 decades, for what it's worth, just because it is hard for, an inferior team on a short week to kind of scheme up a way to stay competitive. So that's about all I think about that. But yeah, I think this screams stay away. Watch something else.
Yeah.